Guys, welcome. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 50 fragrances of all time. A couple of disclaimers before I get started because I see a lot of really popular creators online make videos, top 30, top 50 ranking, whatever it is, top 10, where all of these fragrances they own. They do this for a living. I don't have that luxury. I don't own all of the fragrances that I'm going to be including on this list. So fair warning, I'm not going to have a bottle of everything, or probably not even half of this top 50 list. And number two, I'm only including dupes when I haven't smelled the original that the dupe is trying to emulate. So there's a couple examples on here where I haven't smelled the original DNA. I'm sure if I had, it would either replace the dupe I'm talking about or just be included with it on here. But for the sake of, all I know is what I know, and I hadn't smelled a ton of these originals. So that's the only time I'll include dupes, with the exception of, I think, just one where it dupes two different things that are combined that are also on this list, but it puts a little twist on it. It smells a little different. So for the sake of consistency, I wanted to disclaim that for you guys before we get started, but that's enough yapping for now. Let's go ahead and get to the number 50 spot. Starting the list off, I'm going to be including Lattafa's Assad Bourbon. Now, this is a unique kind of complex vanilla smell because there's some added spiciness, some ambers, some woods in it here, which gives it that complexity and makes it more interesting rather than just a pure vanilla smell, and it just smells nice. This is going to be Strong With You Sandalwood. So I don't own this fragrance, but I do have a dupe, which is called Mutabur by Khalees, and it smells just like the original from what I've smelled the one time I smelled the original. This performs really well. I've heard that the original performs really well as well, but it's that nice sandalwood smell with a creamy base that I really enjoy. So this is going to be the representation for the list, but on my actual list, I'll have the original Strong With You Sandalwood at 49. So I have Midnight Pour Homme by John Reich. So this dupe's Acqua di Gio's Profondo, which I haven't smelled the original of, so that's why I'm including the dupe here, but a nice aromatic woody smell, really aquatic and fresh. It's grown on me a lot. I got it in a trade, but the more I've worn it, the more I've liked it. This is going to be another Acqua di Gio dupe. This is going to be an Acqua di Gio Profumo dupe instead of Profondo. This is Lattafa Sucrate, so nice and fresh, woody. My first video on YouTube is a review of this fragrance, nice for the spring and summer. The woodiness in here, added to the freshness, gives it some more complexity rather than midnight, and makes me prefer it slightly. Next is Maud Al Dabab by Rabia Prestige. A really nice soft and spicy fragrance that I think works really well in the winter, in the cooler weather, but you could also wear it whenever you want. So yeah, this one's really nice, soft, spicy, some ambers in there, just a really unique winter type of fragrance that adds some complexity that I really enjoy. Next is Coach Blue. I originally fell in love with this one on a tester strip. I tried it on skin later on. It wasn't as great, but nevertheless, still a really nice, fresh blue fragrance that stays close to skin and smells nice, even on the dry down. Next is Royal Blend Sequoia, and this adds a rose note to an otherwise pretty masculine fragrance. So a lot of people categorize a rose note as kind of feminine. I like it in here. I think it adds a nice touch to the Angel Share DNA, and it's a really unique smell, so it's going to come in here. Next is Dolce & Gabbana's The One Parfum. Just a really simple but smooth and effective fragrance to me. I think it's really just a nice vanilla. Nothing too crazy, nothing too complex, but really, really smooth and nice, and something that I would probably never get tired of if I owned it. Acqua di Gio EDT is next. Super marine, fresh, aquatic, citrusy. Not much to be said here. It's just a really nice and simple, well-formulated fragrance. Kilian's Angel Share is next. It adds a citrus note that really freshens things up when looking at the original Kilian's Angel Share. So the On the Rocks version is a little bit better to me, and it's going to come in here at 41. Stronger With You Intensely is next. This is a nice, just cool weather scent through and through. It's nice cinnamon, toffee, vanilla type fragrance. And like I said, these are growing off of me a little bit, but this one just smells too nice not to include in the list. Timeless Vetiver by True Fragrances is going to be next. And if you like earthy, fresh, aromatic fragrances, this is going to be one that you're probably going to enjoy. Just all the vetiver freshness that you're going to get in here. Super green, earthy, aromatic. Really nice and fresh. Good for warmer weather, I would say. So Mercedes Club Black EDT is going to come in at the 38 spot. This blends the amber and vanilla smells really well. So those are like two of the staples in my mind with a winter fragrance or something you're going to wear in cooler weather. So it does a good job at that, but it also adds some woods on the dry down that I really enjoy as well. I've shuffled my list around quite a bit, and one of the few things that hasn't changed for me is 1 Million Privé from Urbane is one spot ahead of Mercedes Club Black EDT. And that's because they're just really similar to me. I just slightly prefer 1 Million Privé. It's spicy with some good aromatic type vanilla and ambers to it. So it's similar in that way. There's just a little bit of added cinnamon in here that I can barely put my nose on, but it makes me enjoy it a little bit more than Mercedes Club Black. So it's gonna come in here. Next, staple in my collection, guys. Jimmy Choo Man Friggin' Blue. So this stuff has always been some of my favorite. At one point, it was my favorite in my collection. I've smelled a lot of new things since then. It's got a really nice fresh blue opening, which you can say about a lot of fragrances, but what makes this one unique in comparison is the dry down. The dry down is really vanillic. It's really smooth and creamy. So the base of this, with that smooth creaminess and some woodsiness on the dry down, just makes it really unique to me, and I just love the smell of it. So Jimmy Choo Man Blue. While Jimmy Choo Man Blue has the fresh blue opening that dries down to some more vanilla softness, Mont Blanc Legend Red has a citrusy opening, kind of similar to the blue opening, but it dries down with a woody base that I really enjoy. So Mont Blanc Legend Red is a staple in my collection at this point, and I like it just a little bit more than Jimmy Choo Man Blue. And just above Mont Blanc Legend Red, it's gonna be Coach EDT, Coach from Inline. So this one's also really nice. It's kind of got like a bubbly soapiness to it, not just a normal soapiness, but like a sparkling bubbly soapiness. Like there's personality, it's just pizzazz to it. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's kind of like a luxury soap smell that dries down and stays that way, which is good for me because I like the opening, so I like how it stays the same. And the cap and the dog tag are some added bonuses. Parfums de Marly Eau Jaune is going to be next, and the way I describe this one is a niche version of Stronger With You Intensely. So there's that warm toffee, amber, vanilla type of smell with some cinnamon, but it tones it down a little bit with some honey. So it's a little bit lighter to me, but I really, really like it. And to me, it's just, yeah, more of a mature version of Stronger With You Intensely and better. Creed's Queen of Silk is going to be next. And this is the only fragrance I believe on my list that's marketed towards women. It's labeled as a women's perfume, but who cares? I think it smells really good. This is where I have a very popular niche fragrance. We're going to have Blonde Amber from Clive Christian here. Smelled it once at a flea market. I haven't worn it, so I'm not sure about the performance or anything, but this list is mainly based on just scent profile and how much I like the smell of it, to be very honest with you. It's a great vanilla and amber fragrance. So amber, blonde amber, the vanilla and the amber in there, that's what I get from it. It's like a perfect sweet and spicy mix. So Fair Salary by Maison Azura is one of the dupes that I've smelled, the only dupe I own of it. The other dupe that I've smelled that I do not own is Lattafa's Art of Arabia 3. So both phenomenal fragrances. They don't quite hold a candle to Clive Christian, which is, to me, really a masterpiece. Number 30 is going to be Xerjoff Naxos. Xerjoff is a fragrance house that I'm not a huge fan of overall. I've smelled Herba Pura and a few other ones, and I don't love those, but Naxos really does speak to me. It's a really nice honey fragrance. That's the main way people tend to categorize it. But there's some good warm and spicy accords in here as well that make it more complex and really give it that niche fragrance tag in my eyes. I smelled a lot of cheap fragrances that have honey as a listed note or some other sweetness with vanilla or some cinnamon. But I just like Naxos a lot because there's some tobacco in there, some floral notes that really gives it a complex niche feel. So I'm going to have that here at 30. Next is going to be Bond No. 9's New York Nights. And this one plays in a very similar lane to Xerjoff Naxos to me, because they're both sweet fragrances on the surface, but the more you let it dry down on your skin and the more you really give it time to develop, you get a lot of complexity with it that gives it that niche warranty. So I really like New York Nights. Bond No. 9 is a great fragrance house. I do like it a lot more than Xerjoff overall, because you're going to see another Bond No. 9 here way later on in this list. But again, New York Nights is great. You get a little banana bread feel with this one. It's just super soft, inviting, and warm, and it's going to come in here at 29. Les Parfums from YSL's Myself line is going to come in next. And think the classic YSL Myself EDP with an added vanilla note. And that's what you're going to get with this fragrance. I do enjoy it. I do like how the vanilla note that's added to this classic Myself DNA is added, and it complements it well. I just don't enjoy it as much as the classic. So it's not going to be super high on the list, but it's still really, really nice. YSL does not do bad fragrances, in my opinion. Coral Fantasy from Valentino is going to come in here at 27. And to my nose, this is a pretty unique fragrance. So it's super aromatic, which I really enjoy about it. But there's also some fruitiness that is super interesting. The second most listed note on Fragrantica is fruity. So I definitely get that, but I get like a strong apple smell to this one. And that's not a specific listed note, but I'm assuming that they have that categorized under fruity. So this one is nice, really sweet and citrusy. there's some good minerality to this, which is common for that Valentino DNA, which I really enjoy. So this one's going to come in here at 27. Here I have Creed Aventus Cologne. To my nostrils, this is almost identical to Creed Aventus, but I don't like it quite as much, which is interesting because some of the added accords of freshness, of airiness that I'm sensing with Aventus Cologne, I would typically see as an improvement to the DNA that I'm looking at with Creed Aventus, but something about Creed Aventus, just how classic it is and what they've put together with that specific fragrance, makes me enjoy that slightly more than Creed Aventus Cologne. So I'm gonna have it one spot below that. So naturally, that means I'm gonna have Creed Aventus next here. And it takes away the aromatics that you're gonna get in a Creed Aventus Cologne, but it almost makes it more concentrated and more focused on what it's supposed to be, which I guess is why I enjoy it a little bit more than Aventus Cologne. So it's a classic and it's gonna come in here at 25. Next up is going to be Valentino's Born in Roma Intense. So it's exactly what the name says. It's a more intense version of the classic Valentino Born in Roma EDT. So there's that minerality, there's the aromatics that you're going to get in that Valentino EDT DNA, but it adds some vanilla, some leather. I don't know if that's a listed note or not, but that's what I get from it. So there's the minerality, there's the aromatics, but there's that added depth in the base of the fragrance that makes it a little more complex, and I don't necessarily like it more. Well, I don't like it more than Valentino EDT, spoiler alert, but it's a really nice fragrance. It's the night out version is how I would describe it of the classic Valentino. It's going to come in here at 24. At number 23, I have Absolutely from Emporio Armani's Stronger With You line, and this is a more mature version of Stronger With You Intensely to me. So you're going to get the toffee, vanilla, and the Stronger With You Intensely, but there's some rum in this one. It's just more mature, more complex. There's some more depth to Absolutely, and I think it can pass as a niche fragrance a little bit better than Stronger With You Intensely can, and for that I appreciate it and enjoy it slightly more than its counterpart, so it's going to be here at 23. Next is going to be Valentino's Born in Roma EDT, and this is a classic for me. This blends the minerality and the earth tones with the green kind of aromatics and ozonics really nicely with some sweetness here. So I just think it's a really nice blend and balance of different scent profiles that I really enjoy together. And it's super fresh with, like I said, just enough sweetness to balance that out. So it's a really nice fragrance. At number 21, we're going to have L'Edita for Him by Rabiat Prestige. This is a fragrance that I've probably never seen on anyone's top 50 list, much less top 25, 21 here. And it's just a really unique blend. It's a blend between Stronger With You Intensely and YSL Myself EDP. So the YSL Myself EDP is more evident in the opening where it's super fresh and soapy, clean, nice sweet fragrance. But as it dries down, you're really going to get that Stronger With You DNA that's super nice. So it's a really good blend, which makes it something that you can wear anytime. And the scent profile is just absolutely magnetic. This is one of the smoothest fragrances I've ever smelled. And though it's a dupe fragrance, it's really a staple in my collection at this point. At number 20, I have Wood Sage and Sea Salt from Jo Malone. Really nice niche fragrance with some muskiness, some citrus accords, and some woodsiness to balance it all out. So there's a touch of sweetness to this, but what I really enjoy are the aromatics and the earth tones that give it sort of an earthy, aquatic feel that's just super nice. Here at 19, I actually have a fragrance that reminds me quite a bit of Wood Sage and Sea Salt. This is going to be Star Chaser from Thomas Cosmala. Now, a lot of people compare this a lot to Bond No. 9's Lafayette Street. I think it's similar smelling. I don't think it's quite as good, but the reason I compare this to Wood Sage and Sea Salt is because it has a lot of the same accords, and that really comes through when you smell it. There's an aromatic feel to this one with some woodsiness, a lot of musk in here, like a lot of musk. This is going to be Himalaya from Creed here in the number 18 spot, and this is like the weirder cousin of Silver Mountain Water. But it's also really good. Like, it's the weirder cousin of Silver Mountain Water, but it's still a really cool cousin. So Himalaya from Creed is inky. It's metallic, but it does it in a great way. It's super fresh. It's kind of fits a theme of the last few fragrances I've had on this list. It's aromatic. It's woodsy, but the name Himalaya just fits it super well. It's hard to describe, but I really like this fragrance. At 17, I have Sospiro Vibrato. This is an extraordinarily wearable summer fragrance. There's ginger in here, there's grapefruit. It's just an overall really citrusy fragrance with just a sparkling vibe to it that makes it pop off your skin in warmer weather. Super nice. I have Mojave Ghost EDP from Byredo here in the 16 spot. This is just a really nice musk fragrance that's quickly become one of my favorite accords in any fragrance. So the musk in here is absolutely phenomenal. It's super mature. There's some good florals in here. A lot of people describe this as a more feminine fragrance. I don't really care either way. This stuff is phenomenal. It smells great. And at the 15 spot, I have Byredo's Bal d'Afrique EDP. So another awesome DNA from Byredo. They killed it on this one. Mojave Ghost and Bal d'Afrique alike do not last super long, but the scent profiles are way too strong not to make my list. So this one's really floral. There's not as much musk. It's leaning more on the fruitiness and the sweetness. So it's airy, it's aromatic, and it's just a great fragrance, similar to Mojave Ghost, but I do prefer Bal d'Afrique slightly. In the 14th spot, I have Original Vetiver from Creed. And the one word that I've always used to describe how this fragrance smells to me is nostalgia. I don't know why. This fragrance is older than I am, so maybe that's one of the reasons, but it just smells really good to me. There's a vetiver smell in here, obviously given the name, but yeah, I don't want to waste too much time talking about what it smells like because it's honestly just one that I think the best way I can describe it is you just need to put your nose on it and smell it for yourself. But it's aromatic, it's fresh, it's green, it's earthy. It's super nice. I have Jimmy Choo Man Intense here at the 13th spot, and this stuff just takes that Jimmy Choo DNA up a notch. There's the lavender that you're going to get in that classic DNA, but there's some added powderiness, some vanilla, and overall just some dark tones that really make this one more masculine, more in-depth, more complex. This is a more night out version of any Jimmy Choo I've ever smelled, so it just lasts longer, it's darker, it's richer, and it still maintains that sweetness and the blue soapiness that I really like in the classic. At number 12, I'm going to have YSL Myself EDP. I've touched on this DNA already in this video, but this one is just super nice. There's the white floral in here, the citrus, and the patchouli. That's really the big three accords in this scent profile. I guess it's the Mandela effect, but I used to think there was orange blossom in here. It might just be that vanilla that's giving me that vibe. But regardless, this strikes the balance of sweet and fresh really, really well. There's a little bit of soapiness in here for that reason. And the one word I would use to describe this fragrance above all else is smooth. So this one's going to come in here at 12. Phenomenal fragrance. At number 11, I have Born in Roma Extra Dose from Valentino. And it's weird to me how this one isn't mentioned with the likes of the EDT or even something like the Intense or the Coral Fantasy. To me, this one is pretty easily my favorite. The added lavender to the already really great DNA from Valentino just gives this one a really nice dark and rich feel that just intensifies it for me. It makes it really strong, and it just gives that seductive, really addictive feel to it that I just really, really enjoy. Number 10 is L'Absolu from YSL Myself. And this has everything I like in a really nice fragrance. Honestly, this has good citruses. This has some really nice florals, some warmth, some spice to it. It's really fresh and clean, but the woodiness in here, some undertones of patchouli and spice just make this a really well-rounded, phenomenal smelling fragrance. Number 9 is Stronger With You Powerfully. And this is a fragrance that I had in my number 1 spot for a few months. And it hasn't gotten any worse to my nose, but I've been introduced to some really nice fragrances since smelling this one, and it's dropped on the list accordingly. So this is a really nice cherry note added to a really good Stronger With You DNA that already exists. So the cherry adds some more sweetness to it, but it's like a dark cherry kind of smell. It's not super overly sickly sweet. It's just really nice, calm, smooth smell. In the air, this one smells absolutely phenomenal. It smells great out of the bottle, but yeah, in the air, on skin, this one smells amazing. So it's going to be here at number 9. Absolute Aventus from Creed is going to be next, and at its core, this is just a beautifully blended fragrance. I really like the masculine earth tones and the spice to this one. That's really what I get on the opening more than anything, but if you give it a few minutes on your skin, and if you really take some time to smell it, the citrus notes in here are phenomenal and do a really good job in combination with those earth and spice tones. Number 7 is going to be a discontinued fragrance. This is Armani's Attitude, and I have here a dupe, Egyptian Attitude, representing it today. So Armani Attitude is a fragrance that will always hold a special place in my heart because I will never forget the first time I smelled it. Because the first time I smelled it, it inspired me to make a fragrance list in the first place because it immediately, upon first smell, became my favorite fragrance of all time. It's a phenomenal, dark, masculine fragrance that's really unique with a distinct combination of lemon, patchouli, coffee, and some other notes. But this stuff is immaculate. It's hard for me to recommend someone try this because, for one, it's discontinued, so it's hard to get a sample of it. You really have to kind of blind buy a dupe and hope for the best, or blind buy the full fragrance on Facebook Marketplace or something. I wouldn't recommend that necessarily. Just hit me up and you can smell this out of my bottle, but this stuff is great. It's gonna be here at 7. Here I have Lafayette Street from Bod number 9. This is an amber and vanilla heavy fragrance, and that takes me back to the first time that I smelled it. I do remember getting that amber and that vanilla from it. So it was a cool weather fragrance in my mind, but after a little bit of dry down on my skin and just smelling it out of the atomizer more than once, I got some of the other notes that come through in this one. So there's aromatics, citrus, floral notes, and those just make it smell more complete to me. I really just enjoy the fresh aromatics that I get from it. So it smells like a niche fragrance to me because it's high quality, well blended, and I will always love this fragrance. It's gonna be here at 6. In the 5th spot, starting off my top 5 fragrances of all time, is gonna be Silver Mountain Water from Creed. Now, to me, this is like a breath of fresh air. It's really crisp, it's really aromatic, some green citruses in here as well. This is just the definition of a cool and crisp fragrance that's really fresh and airy and light and inviting. Over time, Silver Mountain Water has climbed my list, and it's gonna land here comfortably at number 5. I have Bois Imperial EDP from Essential Parfums here at the number 4 spot. And weirdly enough, this stuff smells a little bit like bug spray to me, but I would place a bet that if I were to go outside right now and put this on, the bugs would actually come towards me rather than away from me because it smells that good. There's a basil note in here. There's earth tones that are just really fresh and not too earthy, if that makes sense. So it doesn't smell like dirt. It smells more like fresh mowed lawn, I guess. But yeah, the citruses are really nice in here. It's aromatic. It lasts a really long time if that's something you care about. I don't care that much. To me, it's more of a bonus. It's more secondary to the scent profile, but the scent profile of this is so great that it's gonna be here at the number 4 spot. At number 3, I have Imagination from Louis Vuitton. Man, this is good. This is like a fresh bar of soap on the opening, super elegant, clean, and rich, sophisticated. On the dry down, you're gonna get a little bit more amber in here. So more of a cooler weather scent on the dry down, but it still mixes really well with that freshness. And this is just a beautiful blend of a lot of different notes that I love. And it's just super well done. Louis Vuitton Imagination. It's gonna be number 3. At number 2, I have Mojave Ghost Absolute from Byredo. And this just smells like an elegant masterpiece in my mind. So it's a really musky fragrance. There's some floral notes in here. It just smells extremely sophisticated, a slight sweetness to it that's really intriguing, but the main accords in here that I understand are musk, floral notes, and there's some powderiness to this that I really enjoy. It's just a very inviting, soft scent that just smells really good in the air, really good close to skin. It lasts a decent amount of time, and the scent profile of this is just undeniable in my eyes. So Mojave Ghost Absolute is number 2 and is only beaten by 1 fragrance to me. My favorite fragrance of all time is Baldafreak Absolute from Byredo. The only fragrance I like more than Mojave Ghost. And these are honestly like 1A and 1B to me. The reason I do slightly prefer Baldafreak Absolute is it's a little bit more playful. It's a little bit sweeter with all of the elegance that you're gonna get in something like Mojave Ghost. So it maintains all of those sophisticated niche notes, the violet leaf that I kind of get, and I don't know if that's a listed note for sure, but that's kind of the smell I get from it. Super floral, super sweet, super inviting. It just smells like optimism in a bottle to me is the best way I know how to describe it. It smells like a ray of sunshine. It smells like a early morning in the summer where you wake up and you only have positive thoughts. Baldafreak Absolute is my personal favorite fragrance of all time. There's nothing in this world that I've smelled, fragrance-wise at least, that smells better than Baldafreak Absolute. Guys, that's a wrap on my top 50 favorite fragrances of all time. If you stuck with me throughout this entire ranking, you're a real one. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for watching. And let me know what kind of videos you want to see next. I only have so many ideas in my brain, and I always appreciate suggestions. So without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.